Have you ever thought of someone just before they called or texted you? Most of us have. It feels like a coincidence. But what if it's not? What if there's an actual explanation for this kind of silent mind-to-mind connection? Alice A. Bailey, a renowned theosophical writer and spiritual teacher, explored this in depth. Her book Telepathy and the Etheric Vehicle describes telepathy not as a supernatural phenomenon, but as an energetic process governed by universal laws. She believed that our thoughts are not confined to the brain, but are transmitted through an intricate energy system known as the etheric vehicle. Today, we'll explore Bailey's insights and uncover the hidden mechanics behind telepathic communication. In this video, we'll break down the science of telepathy, how thoughts are transferred from one mind to another, the etheric web, a subtle energy network that acts as a bridge for telepathic communication, and the practical implications. Understanding telepathy can enhance our awareness, improve human connection, and even hint at the future of consciousness research. One of the key takeaways is that telepathy, in Bailey's view, doesn't require special talent, just training and alignment. Much like learning a new language or musical instrument, it depends on strengthening specific internal capacities, mental focus, emotional balance, and a clear energy field. In modern terms, this sounds a lot like improving signal clarity for better reception. If your mind is cluttered or emotionally reactive, the signal gets scrambled. If it's calm and tuned in, the message comes through more clearly. By the end of this discussion, you'll have a deeper understanding of telepathy, not as a fantasy, but as a real function of the human energy system. So what exactly is telepathy, according to Alice Bailey? She describes it as the ability to transmit and receive thought impressions beyond the limitations of speech or physical interaction. Telepathy, she explains, is not an extraordinary gift for the few, but a latent ability within all humans waiting to be developed. At the core of telepathic exchange is something called the etheric vehicle, an invisible energy structure that connects our physical bodies with higher planes of existence. Bailey's ideas also suggest that as society becomes more globally connected through digital communication, shared experiences, and collective crises, we may be naturally activating the conditions needed for telepathic sensitivity. The increased emphasis on mindfulness, meditation, and emotional intelligence in modern life could be signs that humanity is already beginning to shift toward a new mode of awareness, one that includes forms of communication beyond speech and text. This etheric body serves as both a transmitter and a receiver, channeling thoughts, emotions, and spiritual insights across distances. In the same way that radio waves carry signals through space, the etheric vehicle carries telepathic impressions, bridging the gap between minds. Bailey believed that as human evolution progresses, telepathy will become a primary mode of communication, one that transcends language and distance. Telepathy is not a single phenomenon, but manifests in three distinct forms, each representing a different level of human consciousness and energetic refinement. Alice Bailey categorized these into instinctual telepathy, mental telepathy, and intuitional telepathy. The most basic form is instinctual telepathy. This occurs at an emotional and unconscious level. It is deeply rooted in the survival instincts of humans and animals. Imagine a mother who intuitively senses her child's distress, even when miles apart. Or consider the way animals seem to communicate without words, responding to each other's emotions and intentions. This form of telepathy is primarily solar plexus-based, meaning it operates through emotional resonance rather than structured thought. It is the most primitive yet also the most widespread form of thought transfer. Think of instinctual telepathy as the emotional version of a vibe check. It's not about language or logic. It's about feeling. Many people have experienced getting a bad feeling about a place or person, only to later learn there was a real reason for it. Bailey's perspective would frame this as subtle energy being picked up unconsciously through the etheric field. As we evolve intellectually and spiritually, we develop mental telepathy, a more refined mind-to-mind communication that requires conscious awareness. This type of telepathy operates through the Ajna center, or the third eye, and engages the higher mind. Unlike instinctual telepathy, which is rooted in emotion, mental telepathy relies on clear, structured thought forms. This is the kind of telepathic ability often associated with deep meditation, focused intention, or spiritual training. Certain individuals, such as monks, scientists, or experienced meditators, train themselves to receive and transmit mental impressions with greater accuracy. This allows ideas, not just emotions, to be transferred between minds, often across great distances. Interestingly, recent advances in neuroscience show that focused attention and mental clarity increase synchronization between different parts of the brain. Bailey's claim, That disciplined thought enhances telepathic reception mirrors these findings. A clearer, more stable brainwave pattern might naturally be more receptive to subtle influences, even if we don't yet fully understand how that works. At the highest level, we encounter intuitional telepathy. This is the purest form of telepathic transmission, one that bypasses both emotions and structured thoughts, reaching into the realm of direct knowing. Instead of interpreting a thought or feeling, the receiver simply knows the truth being transmitted, as if the knowledge arises spontaneously within them. Alice Bailey describes this as the form of telepathy used by spiritual teachers, enlightened beings, and those who receive wisdom from higher planes of consciousness. This kind of transmission occurs through the crown chakra, where the individual connects to universal intelligence. While intuitional telepathy might sound abstract, it's not unlike what many describe as eureka moments, when a sudden insight appears fully formed, seemingly out of nowhere. Bailey's explanation gives this a framework. Those flashes of brilliance might not be random, but a type of reception from a broader field of consciousness that anyone can access with the right mental and energetic conditions. The transition from instinctual to mental to intuitional telepathy reflects the evolution of consciousness itself. As humanity progresses, this shift is becoming more noticeable, with intuitive and mental telepathic abilities emerging in more individuals across the world. But how exactly does telepathy function? How do thoughts, which seem to exist within our own minds, travel from one person to another? Alice Bailey explains that thoughts are not confined to the brain. They are energy waves, vibrational patterns that radiate outward. Much like sound waves traveling through the air or radio waves carrying a signal, thoughts are subtle energetic impulses that extend beyond the physical form. The medium for this transmission is what Bailey calls the etheric web. This invisible energetic structure surrounds and permeates the physical body, acting as a bridge between the physical mind and the subtle planes of thought. Think of it like an antenna, receiving and transmitting thoughts based on vibrational frequency. This model helps explain why people often feel mentally in sync with those they're close to. If two people spend a lot of time together, their thoughts and emotions begin to align, almost like tuning two radios to the same frequency. Bailey's theory would say their etheric fields are resonating, which makes telepathic moments more likely. When we generate a thought, especially one charged with emotion or intent, it imprints itself upon the etheric web. From there, it travels outward, seeking a resonant mind, a receiver attuned to the same vibrational frequency. This explains why people who share strong emotional or mental bonds, such as twins, lifelong friends, or spiritual groups, often experience telepathic connections more frequently. Their energy fields are naturally aligned, allowing thoughts to transfer more easily. The etheric web also acts as a filter, ensuring that telepathic impressions are only received when the receiver is attuned to the right frequency. Just as a radio must be tuned to the correct station to pick up a signal, our etheric body must be receptive and clear for telepathic messages to be accurately received. If this sounds like it borders on science fiction, consider how emotional states already affect communication. When someone is anxious or distracted, even spoken messages often get misinterpreted. Bailey's model is essentially saying that energy-based communication works the same way. If your inner state is unsettled, your ability to hear subtle thought signals gets blocked or distorted. Now let's explore the biological and spiritual centers that play a key role in telepathic transmission, the pineal gland and the Ajna center, or I. Ancient traditions across cultures have long regarded the I as the gateway to higher consciousness. In Hinduism and Buddhism, it is associated with the Ajna chakra, the seat of intuition and mental clarity. In Western esoteric traditions, it is linked to the pineal gland, a small, pea-sized gland located deep within the brain near the center of the forehead. The pineal gland has long been a subject of mystery. Modern neuroscience recognizes it as the regulator of circadian rhythms, secreting melatonin to influence sleep cycles. What's fascinating is that modern research also shows the pineal gland is sensitive to electromagnetic activity and may be involved in altered states of awareness, including during deep meditation or near-death experiences. Bailey's claim that it's a receiver of higher frequencies might not be so far-fetched when you consider how this gland responds to changes in light, rhythm, and mental focus. Alice Bailey suggests that the Ajna center serves as the focal point for mental telepathy, acting like a lens that refines and directs thought energy. When developed through meditation and conscious training, this center enables individuals to receive and send telepathic impressions with greater clarity. Scientific research, though still in early stages, has begun to explore the electromagnetic properties of the brain. and the role of the pineal gland in non-ordinary states of consciousness. Some researchers propose that quantum entanglement, a phenomenon where particles remain connected across vast distances, may offer a clue to how telepathic transmission occurs. If consciousness is more than just brain activity, if it's part of a larger energetic field, then telepathy could simply be a byproduct of that field. Just like wireless internet lets devices communicate without wires, our minds might be capable of something similar once we're tuned in and properly aligned. As we move forward, the interplay between science, spirituality, and consciousness studies may offer deeper insights into the mechanics of telepathy. Alice Bailey's teachings suggest that as humanity evolves, the barriers between minds will gradually dissolve, leading to a future where mental and intuitional telepathy become common methods of communication. To understand telepathy, we must examine the etheric vehicle, the subtle energy body that acts as a bridge between the physical and astral planes. Alice Bailey describes the etheric vehicle as a network of energy channels, or nadis, that interpenetrate and surround the physical body. It is composed of pranic energy, also known as life force or chi, and serves as a transmitter for consciousness, thoughts, and emotion. While the physical body exists in the material world, the etheric vehicle operates on a more refined vibrational level, linking our conscious awareness to higher dimensions of existence. Think of it as the wireless signal that connects a device to the internet, invisible but essential. Without the etheric body, we would be cut off from subtle energies, intuitive insights, and telepathic impressions. This comparison to a wireless network isn't just metaphorical. It mirrors how we already understand modern communication. Devices need good signal strength to connect. In the same way, Bailey believed we need a strong, balanced etheric body to clearly send and receive telepathic messages. If you've ever felt mentally foggy or emotionally off, it could be like having a weak Wi-Fi signal. Your inner system isn't well connected. Bailey teaches that the etheric vehicle plays a dual role in telepathic communication. It receives thought impulses from others, filtering them through the chakras and nervous system. It transmits mental and emotional energy outward, sending thought waves to those attuned to receive them. This means every telepathic exchange depends on the condition of the etheric body. A strong, well-stimulated etheric field allows for clear, accurate transmissions, while a weak or blocked etheric vehicle can distort messages or make telepathic reception impossible. Similar to how cluttered thinking affects your ability to focus or recall information, Bailey's idea is that energetic clutter, stress, overthinking, or emotional turbulence blocks clear reception of telepathic input. This may help explain why some people seem naturally more intuitive or in tune with others. Their energy systems are clearer, better maintained, or consciously trained. This leads to an important question. How exactly do we receive and transmit telepathic impressions? The answer lies in the chakras, the energy centers that regulate the flow of subtle energy through the etheric body. According to Alice Bailey, certain chakras play a key role in telepathic communication, acting as receivers and broadcasters of thought energy. While all chakras contribute to the overall energy system, 3 in particular are essential for telepathic functioning. Ajna chakra, the center of mental telepathy. Heart chakra, the center of empathetic and group telepathy. Solar plexus chakra, the center of instinctual and emotional telepathy. What's notable here is how these chakras correlate with experiences we already understand. For example, the Ajna chakra is tied to insight and focus, just like when you're mentally locked in and pick up on others' thoughts or needs without them saying a word. The heart chakra governs emotional closeness, like when you feel someone else's sadness or joy as if it were your own. The solar plexus chakra relates to gut feelings, those instinctive alerts that something is wrong, even before you get any physical evidence. These connections help ground the concept of telepathy in real-life emotional and cognitive experiences, making Bailey's framework more accessible and relevant. Developing telepathic ability is not reserved for a select few. It is a skill that can be cultivated through conscious effort, discipline, and practice. Alice Bailey emphasizes that telepathic communication is most effective when the mind is still, the energy body is aligned, and the practitioner engages in purposeful group work. The most fundamental step is meditation, which trains the mind to be silent and receptive. Most people experience constant mental chatter, which drowns out the subtle signals of telepathic communication. To develop telepathic sensitivity, one can practice focused awareness by sitting in a quiet space, closing the eyes, and directing attention to the Ajna chakra located at the center of the forehead. By taking slow, deep breaths and releasing stray thoughts, the mind becomes a still surface, much like a calm pond reflecting images with clarity. When the mental state is peaceful and focused, it becomes easier to perceive external thought impressions without distortion. This is supported by modern cognitive science. Studies show that when the brain is in a relaxed but alert state, especially during meditation, it becomes more sensitive to subtle external cues. In this sense, Bailey's method of training the mind to listen through quiet stillness lines up with what we now understand about enhancing perception and attention. Energy alignment is another crucial aspect of telepathic development. Since telepathic exchanges occur through the etheric vehicle, keeping this energy system clear and balanced is essential. Techniques such as deep breathing, pranayama, chakra visualization, and grounding exercises help refine the etheric field, making it more receptive to subtle frequencies. An advanced practice involves visualizing a golden thread of light extending from the Ajna center to a chosen recipient, forming a clear channel for thought transmission. Beyond meditation and energy alignment, working with a partner or group accelerates telepathic growth. One of the simplest exercises involves two individuals, a sender and a receiver. The sender focuses intently on a simple thought, an image, color, or word, while the receiver relaxes their mind. With repeated practice, the mental link strengthens and more refined transmissions occur. This resembles early experiments in psychology, like the Ganzfeld experiments, which tested telepathy using relaxed states and mental imagery. While results have been debated, some studies have shown above-average success rates, suggesting there may be something real behind this approach, even if we can't yet explain it fully with conventional tools. However, with growing ability comes ethical responsibility. Just as verbal communication requires respect and honesty, telepathic interaction must be approached with integrity. Alice Bailey warns against the misuse of telepathic influence, particularly attempts to manipulate, invade privacy, or override free will. The idea of respecting mental boundaries is especially important in today's world. Just as digital privacy has become a major concern with the rise of social media and AI, Bailey's warnings about mental intrusion feel surprisingly current. Any future use of telepathic skill, if it becomes widespread, would likely require a kind of mental etiquette, much like we now have unspoken rules around texting, calling, and online behavior. Another crucial ethical consideration is the emotional tone of the thoughts being sent. Thoughts laced with anger, fear, or attachment can become distorted, leading to harmful effects. This is why self-purification and emotional mastery are essential prerequisites for effective telepathy. A good rule of thumb: never send a thought you wouldn't feel comfortable saying out loud. The highest purpose of telepathy, Bailey taught, is not just personal communication, but the advancement of human consciousness. Group telepathy serves as a bridge toward unity, where people can share insights and wisdom beyond words, fostering deeper understanding and cooperation. Think of this as an extension of group intelligence. We already see examples of this in collaborative innovation, teams solving complex problems by bouncing ideas off one another. Bailey suggests that a more direct, energetic version of this could emerge as our awareness expands. Instead of just talking about ideas, people could share them directly, much faster, and with more emotional nuance. Modern science is just beginning to explore theories that echo Bailey's ideas. Quantum entanglement, for example, shows that particles can remain linked across any distance. When one changes, the other does too. Some scientists now wonder if consciousness might work the same way, explaining how close individuals seem to know what each other are thinking or feeling, even when far apart. Another scientific angle is non-local consciousness, the idea that the mind isn't limited to the brain, but may operate in a larger field. If that's true, then thoughts could be shared not through physical space, but through that shared field of awareness. While telepathy isn't proven by mainstream science, both research and personal experience suggest it's worth exploring. Alice Bailey's teachings provide a framework, not to mystify the mind, but to help us train it. With care, practice, and ethical responsibility, telepathy could become a powerful tool for connection, not as magic, but as a human capacity waiting to be awakened.